with the recent book bans in America, I am just so relieved that at least they're not out there burning books. Okay, well, never mind. There's a very famous quote that goes, "Where they burn books, they will ultimately burn people," by Henry Cain. 100 years later, the Nazi Party did end up burning his books during World War II. So he was eerily very, very accurate, and it is very scary to see that the US is following in the same continuous pattern. A recent independent article also covered how 150 books have been removed from schools in Florida, which includes multiple classics. Paradise Lost by John Milton, which is like, I'm in the middle of reading it currently. It's one of the best known works of the Renaissance period, and it is insane that they've removed something like that. And this is not where it stops. I have a complete list of all the books that they've removed, which includes The Scarlet Letter, How to Kill a Mockingbird. How to Kill a Mockingbird has been removed. One of the greatest American classics has been taken off shelf, and it deals with important themes like racism. But just to give you an understanding of what the book is about, it is about a white man who is defending a black person who has been accused of raping somebody. Spoiler alert, he didn't actually do it. He didn't actually do it, but he was blamed for it. It was like an easier scapegoat. So there is a white man defending this black person within this very tight-knit white community. And it's just baffling to me that they would remove How to Kill a Mockingbird, because why? That deals with very important things. And sure, it's very uncomfortable and, hard to read at times, but this is history. This is what people actually went through, and by taking these books away just because they're making students feel uncomfortable or parents feel uncomfortable, it is just so wrong, and not paying proper tribute and respect to what people actually went through in the past by simply closing your eyes to it, and then because it makes you uncomfortable. Like, other classics that have been taken away are Lord of the Flies, and you'd be surprised, like, they also removed Shakespeare. Let me say that again. Shakespeare. They've banned Shakespeare. In a weird twist of fate, John Milton, the author of Paradise Lost, was the one who basically said that the destruction of books is almost equally proportional basically to the destruction of reason itself. And I don't think the people that are asking for these book bans or that are burning books, that are advocating for these books to be burned, are in any way, shape, or form reasonable, regardless of what their reasons are to protect their kids.
So you take these books out of the library, what are you going to do with them? You going to put them in the street? Light them on fire? Where are they going?
Representative Sexton.
I don't have a clue, but I would burn them.
Okay, now you have my attention.
Books are a window into other people's lifestyles and experiences. They allow us to experience things that we never would outside of our society, outside of our realm, and it helps us to connect with other people. It's us to understand how it feels to walk a mile in a different person's shoes. Like, it builds empathy, it improves vocabulary. Even scientifically, the more you read, the smarter you do become. Obviously, it depends on the contents of the stuff you read, but you are very emotionally in tune to your own feelings and emotions along with other people. And to just be like, no, it makes me uncomfortable, so I don't want anybody else to be able to have access to a book like this. Like, doesn't that sound like lack of freedom? The whole point of America was that it was the land of the free and, liberty. Now you guys are actively fighting to take that freedom away from people and oppressing and suppressing voices. Also, like, 30 to 40% of these books that are being taken down include books that have characters that are colored, that are black, that are Asian, basically that are a minority. Calling for an action to have these books taken down, have these books removed, you are also silencing those voices and sending a message that these stories are not American stories. These are not our stories. These are not the stories that we accept. These are not the experiences that we accept. And I'm just like so baffled by the fact that so many people are just blind to this. Like, it's unnerving in the 21st century.
Disgusting.
Even classics like Animal Farm and Handmaid's Tale are also being banned in so many states. at a really alarming rate. Animal Farm is literally a satire based on government, and it has a lot of important things to say about how people think, about how governments are run, about this idea of equality that is not necessarily, there, but is pushed by propaganda that, yeah, we're equal, we're equal. I mean, the famous quote, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That says everything that you need to know. That sums up the book as like a whole. And classics like that are being erased from libraries, being taken down so that people don't read about like such characters and such stories that have highlighted issues with government. Those books specifically are being targeted and are being taken down. That is like cause for concern. You guys are silencing your own people. And Handmaid's Tale, that is literally about what would happen if you go into the extreme version of like having complete control over people's freedoms and people's actions. Like they tell you where to go, what to do and stuff like that. And if you want to, read more about it, you're more than welcome to like read the book itself. But there's also a really, really excellent show on The Handmaid's Tale, which shows in a really chilling aspect how bad and how depressing life has become without any kind of choices. Like women aren't allowed to even read. Okay, and I know that this is different from the gender issue crisis, but is it really? It could be connected, because then they're taking down, African American voices, and they're taking down Asian voices. They're targeting such different people that I do feel like gender is going to be the next hot thing. And in the US, that is already an ongoing debate. So we are literally headed for a version of The Handmaid's Tale where women ultimately in the near future will be asked to like not read. I mean, in this like one chilling scene in The Handmaid's Tale where the wife comes to her husband and implores, puts forward her suggestion that daughters and sons, both of them should be allowed to read the Bible. This is the Bible we're talking about, okay? They were just like, they should be allowed to read the Bible. They were asking permission.
I did it to set an example for our daughter.
So you have.
No.
On top of book banning and specifically book burning, there's also like heavy censorship. If it's not being censored or being canceled, let's not forget cancel culture. If it's not being censored or canceled, it's being banned. It's being literally burned. Is this really the land of the free? Like, I don't. And what bothers me more is that since we are talking about Roald Dahl, he was specifically very adamant that not a word be changed from any of his books. Oh my god, my phone overheated and switched off on me, which told me that, okay, you've maybe ranted a little too much, a little too hard, so I'm just going to be continuing this very casually. Roald Dahl didn't want a single word of his work, any of his works being ever changed down to down to a comma. He didn't want a single period or a comma to be replaced or erased or anything, and he was very specific about that, and we can't even respect his wishes to do that. Like, it just breaks my heart. And in an era where we should be striving and pushing to be more inclusive, more accepting, more encouraging, we're just like, feels like we're receding backwards to the worst versions of ourselves. Like, this has happened in history. People that burn books are not good people. Not good people, whatever the reason there may be for burning books. They're just not good people, and good things don't follow after those instances. So everybody's been comparing to all of the book burning that have been happening in the US to what the Nazis did. And people used to like think about the Nazis, so like, oh my god, what terrible people. I would never, if I was in that situation, I would never. Well, that's what's happening right now, isn't it? And it's just, it's so disappointing. I can't even do an outro because I'm so disappointed in humanity, so I'm just gonna go. Also, by the way, I also did talk about this a little bit on my Instagram blog, so I did make a post about it. Here it is, somewhere here on the screen. So if you guys want to check that out, check out my Instagram, you can do that. I also have a TikTok, so be sure to follow me on there. And this is just like a very casual outro because I am done with book banning. Like, it's not good. Stop it.
I'm here to protest our school's district book banning policy. My husband, Robert Nickel, was killed in action in World War II, defending our democracy Constitution, and freedoms. One of the freedoms that the Nazis crushed was the freedom to read the books they banned. They stopped the free press, banned and burned books. The freedom to read, which is protected by the First Amendment, is our essential right and duty of our democracy. Even so, it is continually under attack.
Huh? Educate yourself, you fool.